Happy Thursday, everybody. I don't know how good the connection will be, so I just haven't done a live video in forever, so I thought I'd check in with you guys. And there was an amazing question raised in one of my closed groups that I have. And the question was, what do you do? I'm trying to think of the exact question, but it was basically, hey Mary, that's my cousin right there. Hi Mary. The question was, when you go to restaurants, how do you deal with eating out when you have food issues, food stuff? A really awesome question, and I deal with it in a way that really helps me a lot. So I hope that I just have a few minutes here to talk to you guys about it, and I'll probably share this on the private group, and definitely tell me like what you guys do. But I have an exact protocol that I do. I say protocol because you have like a system, right? Of basically the main thing is having in mind that what you need, which is, so when I go to restaurants, first of all, I don't expect them to take care of exactly what I need, because they run a business and they do whatever they can do. You deal with a lot of different personalities. You've got managers, you've got the servers, you've got the cooks and stuff, so they may or may not be able to help you. Most of the time, people are very accommodating for me, so that's the good news. And when you ask people or say to people, hey, I have special considerations that I need your help with, can you help me? And just wait for the answers and see what people say. Typically they're like, what do you need? Well, I can't have my food made around anything that has gluten in it, for one thing. Either you'll get, oh yeah, we totally can do that, I'll let the staff know, I'll let the cooks know, or they'll look at you with a blank stare. Totally fine, because not a lot of people know or understand gluten stuff. And so I'll say, well, gluten is in wheat and a lot of other things, but I have to ask because I need that done for me if I'm going to eat out. And I'll even say sometimes, well, I could talk to your manager if it helps, or talk to your chef if they've got a chef, or the cooks themselves. I love it actually when the cooks come out. There's a local restaurant called Rainforest Cafe where no matter what food thing you've got going on, the cooks always come out and talk to you because they want to know exactly what you need. And I've actually had cooks say to me things that indicate to me that they don't know how to cook without gluten. So I kind of see if I can kind of teach them a little bit about it, and if they can do it, great. If they still seem really iffy about it, I guide them or instruct them something else to make that's a lot safer than what it was that I originally made. I don't know if you guys are watching this later, definitely let me know in the comments if you have other questions. But this is my life, by the way. I have had to do this because I require it medically. So once I start with the gluten thing, right, and I get that squared away, then I also then say, okay, by the way, I don't eat any animal products. So how can you help me make this dish completely vegan? Or I'll say, can you guys just make sure there's no whatever it is that might normally be in that dish? So to be honest, it's just about talking to them and also not having expectations that they're going to be able to meet my needs. That's huge, because I think a lot of times we have expectations that like when you eat out or you go somewhere, that it's like they're gonna absolutely give me what I need. No, like it's not. This is their world, right? So to expect them to bow to like whatever needs that I have, it's not It's ridiculous. It's like, actually, it's like, I think it's very, I just don't, that's just not how I think. I feel a lot of compassion for people who are in the food industry. I used to work as a waitress and host. I've worked in the food world myself many years ago. And so I think if you approach it that way, they'll be at least a little more able to tell you that they can or cannot. I've gone into restaurants with other people and I've sat at meals where I couldn't eat anything there. And I just ate what I brought, because I always have some kind of food on me to be able to help myself be able to, survive on this planet. Like, so, hold on, let's see what time it is. Okay, so I do have more time. So what else for eating out can you guys suggest for some of my friends in my, it's called plant-based gluten-free, by the way. Plant-based gluten-free living, which is my world to a T. And so, and by the way, that's also why, for the most part, I try to just have as basic food as possible, which is whole foods, plant-based. And, really, like, which gets to nuts and bolts of eating. So, but eating out is a special thing. It's a special situation that we're in all the time. Because, I mean, who wants to only cook at home? I mean, you end up not having a social life, right? So, but if you can also, when you go out and not make a big deal about stuff, I think it's just basically having the expectations. It's interesting, by the way. So, observing the people around you when you eat out, when you're in the situation that you're in. Like, watch the people around you who you love and who are with you, and see how some of them really want to help you, some of them get embarrassed, some of them like don't know what to do with you. That's the funniest part, because it's like you have the opportunity to look at them and be like, don't worry, I've got this. Like, I totally have this, I've got this, like, under control. I'm curious to hear, like, what restaurants or establishments you guys have had the most trouble with. I'll often recommend to people, like, look at the menus before you go. Like, or you can even go to the extreme of, like, calling the manager before you go and say, hey, like, I'm going to be in there in, like, an hour, and I just was curious, like, if you guys are going to be able to accommodate my health requirements. And usually they'll give you the disclaimer, like, oh, we can't promise that we will be able to accommodate perfectly, but we'll do the best we can. And that's, like, the best thing you can hear. So, no, so I'm looking at Mary's question. Since you're vegetarian, vegan, do you think you have to eat more or more often? Since you mentioned always having food on you, as do I. Not necessarily. I feel like I've refined. A lot of foods that I eat are caloric dense, which means basically, like, I can eat stuff that has a lot more calories that'll last longer. Like, for example, oatmeal or protein bars, things like that, or protein powders that you can mix into stuff. I don't, you know what, before I went vegan and gluten-free, I actually was hypoglycemic, which I hardly ever have that problem anymore. Pretty much solved that problem now. But before I went to change what I eat, hi Tiger, by the way. It's nice to see you. I would eat like every 2 hours. I would eat something every 2 hours when I was hypoglycemic. Nowadays, I pretty much am in the habit of anyways snacking a little bit, like having a piece of fruit anyway every couple of hours, or because I find that when I eat a lot at mealtime, like a whole lot, that it weighs me down and my stomach has a hard time processing a lot. But I think it's just a matter of what you choose to eat when you're eating at that time. And, you know, if you eat a huge salad with chickpeas, for example, like roasted or just even cooked chickpeas, that lasts me for like 3 hours. I mean, it's because of the amount of fiber in it that lasts a lot longer. And the chickpeas certainly are just really good at sustenance. I mean, it gives me all the nutrition that are in chickpeas. I believe there's calcium, iron, and certainly protein and carbs that are a good balance. And hold on, let me see time-wise. So I hope that helps answer the question. But yeah, I hardly have any symptoms of hypoglycemia anymore. I was diagnosed a long time ago. I was also diagnosed with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, when I was like 13. And I don't really have that. I don't have those issues at all anymore. Certainly the celiac that I was diagnosed with kind of trumped everything. It was like, okay, this is what I needed to take care of primarily now, and it kind of washed away all the other stuff. Certainly don't have my asthma symptoms anymore, rarely. Oh, so hypoglycemic, I went to the doctor and I said, I can't think when I'm really, really hungry and I haven't had anything to eat in a couple of hours, and I'm just like walking around like angry and snapping at people. And I went to the doctor and I talked to them about it. I said, what is a test for hypoglycemia? And I told him or her the symptoms, and they're like, okay, those are totally the symptoms. And by the way, the test for hypoglycemia is awful. It'll make you feel like crap. And I promise you that if you take it, you feel like crap for about 2 or 3 days after. And I really don't want to put you through it if you don't really have to. And I said, okay, cool, let's go with that. I'm hypoglycemic. I'll do what the recommendations are of what to eat or how to eat if I have hypoglycemia. And so basically the symptoms were like I would get a headache, really grumpy, irritable. And I remember asking my mom about it. She was a nurse, and she would say, Jackie, yeah, I don't have any of those symptoms when I was really hungry. So you definitely have something different going on when you get hungry. And they told me it was actually pre-diabetic to have hypoglycemia. So it was kind of a major red flag for me. Take care of your, this is like the every 2 or 3 hours, I just make sure I have something that might last me. I'll have like an apple with some peanut butter, and that totally cures any kind of like being hungry, stuff like that. So I hope that helps. Let me look here. Yeah, I guess I better go back in. So I hope that helps. And yeah, you don't have to be diagnosed for this stuff, but if you can just treat it as if you have it, and it just whole foods, plant-based all the way, man. Like it really helps. And I don't need to have like a nutrition license, dietitian type of license to suggest it. Apple a day keeps the doctor away type stuff, So anyway, I love you guys, and I hope that you have a good afternoon. It's nice to just check in and do a live video every so often and just check in. And I love you guys, and take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye.